Kings and Queens, your majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for returning. Trust you and yours are well and you're loving yourself and all this like always. Many thanks to all of you for the support you give to the channel. Thank you so much to our channel members, to our anonymous supporters, to all of you, my esteemed subscribers. You are loved, celebrated, and of course appreciated. We shall ban Swahili and accept French and English. Yeah, this is coming from an aspirant, okay? And he feels that French is more relatable, English is more relatable, other than Swahili that is being used. And he is telling you with his full chest, in short, telling his people with his full chest, that if he is being voted into power, he would ban Swahili and adapt French and English. So, this is happening in 2025, okay, almost 2026 even. In this age and time where we have the Sahel leaders doing everything to cut off the influence of French and English from their region and adapt their own. And we have a grown-up man who is running for a particular position and openly telling us all that he will ban the native language. He will ban the language of the original people and adapt French and English. We are saying that France is losing its grip on the continent or losing its hold or her hold on the continent. And on the other hand, we have people who are saying, no, we will not, we want you to come back. Okay? Some are kicking out France, some are accepting. The thing is, I keep saying it here. For those of you who remember, always remember, there are times that Africa will be a step forward, we take a step forward and take 10 steps backward. So when you're looking at a part of the continent where something good is happening, you're so elated, you're happy, and you are in a high spirit, right? And then you turn to the other angle, you see that, that happiness, that joy you have is spoiled because of situations like this. So listen to this like some seconds discussion and we'll continue, Your Majesties.
We shall ban Swahili as our national language. We shall ban it. We need French instead. French has a wider coverage. Burundi, they speak French. Congo, they speak French. Rwanda, they speak French. Congo Brazzaville, they speak French. Gabon, they speak French. Central African Republic, they speak French. We don't need Swahili. We need English and French.
You heard that directly from the horse's mouth. According to him, French has the wider coverage. And that is what I want us to deliberate upon today. These foreign languages having a wider coverage in the motherland. I'm calling them foreign because these were not part of us. Yes, there might be an international language that is used for communication internationally. And I keep telling you here, the little we know or understand, the little we understand, we use it to communicate. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. Is this little knowledge of English I have that I'm able to communicate with you. Okay, some of you might not be happy with the way I speak because you feel like maybe I don't understand English like that. I'm still learning. Yes, but I keep telling you here that I can't change who I am. I'm not an English person, okay? It is because of colonization that I'm using this to communicate with you. And sometimes the way situations are in the world, there are things that you cannot just control. I think that's the reason why we are still having to sit down here and have this discussion with you with English, because this is the only thing that we have adapted as a whole world to communicate at this point. So French has a wider coverage according to him. And this is exactly what the Sahel leaders are trying to cut down. The wider coverage of Francais.
French is no longer the official language in Burkina Faso, but a working language. An amendment to Burkina Faso's constitution granting local languages official status while dropping French and making it a working language. This was approved by the Council of Ministers on Wednesday. In this draft text, we must note the institutionalization of national languages as official languages, while French remains a working language, Bayala explained. The draft contains reforms that include expanding the Constitutional Council's powers and the admission of non-magistrates to the Supreme Council of the Judiciary, the minister said. This will allow the state to distance itself from its colonial legacy while strengthening its sovereignty and cultural identity, according to La Nouvelle Tribune. The decision is part of a project to update the constitution of the military authorities, which took control following a coup d'etat in late September 2022. In August this year, they renounced the country's double taxation agreement with France. On July 2022, Mali also passed a new constitution giving the country's local languages official status while dropping French as an official language. Morocco is currently undergoing education reforms that favor the use of English, and Algeria has made Arabic its official language, with French gradually being replaced. On the other hand, Niger has ended military partnership with EU and turned to Russia. Niger's military leader has said that the Sahel country is ending 2 European Union security and defense missions in the country, right after announcing that Niger has agreed to strengthen military cooperation with Russia. The so-called EU security and defense missions is a Niamey-based civilian capacity building mission called UCAP Sahel Niger. The mission was launched in 2012 to support Niger's internal security forces, authorities, and non-governmental actors. At the same time that this EU mission was being terminated, Niger's foreign ministry also announced in a press statement that the state of Niger was withdrawing consent for the deployment of an EU military partnership mission in Niger. The military partnership, known as EUMPM, was launched in February at the request of the Bazoum-led Nigerian authorities, according to the EU Council website. The website claims that it was designed to enhance the ability of the Niger armed forces to contain the terrorist threat. Today, Niger's former colonial ruler, France, has been disgraced out of Niger for good as the withdrawal of their 15,000 troops in the poor, struggling African country is ongoing right now. At the same time that every apron string tying Niger to France and the EU is being radically and summarily severed.
Yes, this is exactly what the Sahel leaders are trying to cut down and adapt a language. The same Swahili that this man is opening his mouth and saying he wants to ban is the same Swahili that the Sahel leaders are considering to be a major language. The same Swahili that this man is standing there saying that he wants to ban. Like people like us, I say, okay, we should, if we're going to think about a language that has, a wider coverage in the motherland, Swahili should be one of the languages that should be considered. It's not the only language, but it should be one of the languages that should be considered. And we have this man here openly telling us that he's going to ban Swahili. Sometimes when I say people like this, I'm left with no other choice but to believe that it's like Macron had visited him. I don't know if you understand me. It's like he has been visited by Macron. France is gradually, becoming the shadow of herself in the motherland, and they are doing everything as well. Do not get it twisted. They are working night and day to see that their influence is still held. Who knows if he was promised something, if he tries his best to make French, a language that is widely acceptable other than Swahili. Now, when we talk about communication and the effects of communicating with these foreign languages to us, some of our kids cannot even speak our own mother tongue anymore. Why? Because of this whole idea of French has a wider coverage, English has a wider coverage. People view Francais and Anglais as, that your child needs to know how to speak French to be on the topper. Your children need to know how to speak English so well to be on the topper. There are some schools even in Africa right now, in the continent. In Nigeria, I saw that recently, right? They were forced to speak. There's a way they were asking them to twist their tongue. And these children were twisting. Maybe I'm going to leave that video so that you listen to it. These children were twisting their tongue and were speaking like a typical Englishman from England.
The Pact and Privacy of Personal Property was printed in the paper. He gave a poor explanation of the possibility of postponing the preliminary plans to put a new production manager in place.
Paul's preposterous imprint to performance was pretty personal and lacked propriety. Penelope promoted a healthy peasant appearance in her new spring compilation.
Although pizzas are popular, most people prefer pretzels. Thank you.
First sentence.
The Pact of Privacy of Personal Property was printed in the paper.
First sentence.
The Pact and Privacy of Personal Properties was printed in the paper.
Second sentence.
He gave a poor explanation of the possibilities of postponing the
You're not making a video.
preliminary.
See?
A typical Englishman from Britain. This is what is happening in the motherland. Our own heritage is lost. The core of ourselves is thrown away. And in 2025, heading to 2026, we have a man who is running for election who had promised that he's going to ban Swahili and adapt Francais. Should this man win an election or not? I know a lot of you here will say, okay, he shouldn't win this election. But many people will vote for him. The level of the brainwashing and colonization that has happened to us as Africans, I can't understand. I can't even fathom. I can't fathom. There are some people who they are finding it difficult to even have a smooth conversation in their mother tongue, and it's painful to them. They are regretting why their parent never made extra effort to teach them this. And then we have another group of people who are happy. That's the majority. Even they are happy that they don't even know how to speak their mother tongue. They don't know how to speak their dialect. They don't know how to speak their language. And most of the times, we parents are guilty of these things. When we are supposed to teach our children our traditions, our cultures, our way of life, how to speak in our own languages, we force them to speak in the Englishman language. We force them to speak in the Frenchman's language because we want to show off. Because there's this ideology, this colonized mentality that is running around the continent that if you don't know how to speak English to a particular level, you are not educated. If you don't know how to speak French to a particular level, you are not educated. And then you go out, your child speak in your native dialect to you. You slap that child. Why should that child speak in that native dialect? The child should speak English to you. This is what is happening by day. That's what I'm saying. We as parents, we're also guilty. You prefer your child speaking in English outside, not in your language. And we don't know that these things we are doing has a lot of disadvantages. The little advantage might just be that people will see that, okay, your child is learning to a particular level, your child can speak this fluently, your child can do that, a language that is not even your own. You want to show off that your child can speak, okay, maybe that's an advantage for you. But the disadvantage is dangerous. Because there are times where there are things you want to say to your child secretly you don't want people to hear, and you will regret why you never sat down and taught your child how to speak in your native dialect. You will regret why you are making French a widely spoken Kiniko in your region. You will regret why you are banning Swahili. I hope we understand what I'm trying to bring out here. I am disappointed to a level, okay, to see that we have learned Africans. It should be learned to a particular level. That's why he's coming and running for a particular position, right? To see that learned Africans like this have thoughts like this, to believe that. Anyway, listen to this and then you leave your thoughts and opinion there at the section, Your Majesties.